This is the Fireside Briefing, Truth by the Firelight, with your hosts, the Keeper and the Watcher, where we bring forward the saga of Vigilante Justice.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Now, usually when we dig into a topic here, we're looking at something pretty concrete. A specific case study, maybe a historical event, something with hard data.
Right. Facts and figures.
Exactly. But today, we're doing something completely different. We're taking a trip.
And it's not exactly a vacation destination.
Definitely not. We are going to a place that technically doesn't exist on any map. You can't punch it into your GPS. But as we went through the sources for this, it became, uncomfortably clear that we've all kind of lived there at some point. We're going to Corruptionville.
It's such a fascinating concept. And we have a really unusual mix of source materials today. We're not looking at spreadsheets or legal filings.
Not at all.
We have a transcript from something called the Vigilante Justice Project, which gives us the narrative voice of this place, the eternal monologue, really. And then we have a series of visual captures.
And these images, they are surreal. They look like snapshots from a fever dream, maybe a dark fairy tale. But they aren't random at all. They tell a very specific, almost linear story about how corruption evolves.
Right.
It starts with a metaphor we all know, the elephant in the room, and it just pushes that metaphor until it absolutely breaks.
It really does. The elephant in the room, it's the ultimate cliche, isn't it? It's that thing everyone sees, the massive problem sitting right there, but no one talks about it.
Right.
But our mission for this deep dive is to figure out why.
Right.
Why don't we talk about it? And more importantly, what happens to a society, to Corruptionville, when that silence goes on for too long?
Because it doesn't just stay silent.
No, in these sources, the elephant doesn't just sit in the corner forever.
Yeah.
It changes.
It evolves, it moves, and that is the terrifying part. So let's step into this world. The first piece of evidence we had is that transcript from Vigilante Justice, and it's paired with our first image, the hallway. And I have to say, the immediate vibe here is just heavy. It's pure Southern Gothic.
Oh, it's oppressive. You can almost feel the humidity just looking at the source material.
Let me paint the picture for you because the atmosphere is everything here. We're looking at a sepia-toned photograph. It feels old, dusty, forgotten.
Yeah.
We're in this grand hallway, high ceilings, tall windows on the left, but the whole place is just rotting. The floorboards are warped, the paint is peeling, the light coming through those windows is hazy, like the air itself is thick with dust.
And the floor is the key detail for me. It's covered in paper.
Everywhere. Just drifts of documents, trash, loose pages. It looks like a filing cabinet exploded in 1975 and nobody ever cleaned it up.
Right.
But standing right in the middle of this hallway, taking up almost the entire width of the frame, is a massive African elephant.
And we should be clear, we're not talking about a cartoon elephant. This is photorealistic. It's gray, wrinkled, dusty. It looks ancient. It looks like it's been standing there as long as the walls have.
Okay, so here's where I want to bring in the Vigilante Justice transcript. There's a line in the text that accompanies this image that really just stopped me in my tracks. It says, "This isn't a secret, it's a silence."
Yes.
Not a secret, a silence. What is the actual difference there?
That is a crucial distinction, and it basically sets the rules for all of Corruptionville. Think about it. A secret is based on information asymmetry. I know something, and I'm actively hiding it from you. You don't know it.
Okay.
If I tell you, poof, the secret is gone. But a silence, that's mutual. That is shared.
So we both know.
Exactly. We are both standing in this hallway. We both see the 4-ton animal blocking our path. We both smell the dust and the animal musk. But we have entered into this unspoken agreement to pretend that we don't.
So it's collaborative.
It requires active cooperation. The text says it just stands here, heavy and unmoving, taking up all the air, all while people pretend there's space still to breathe. That's the psychological toll right there.
Ow.
I mean, can you imagine the energy it takes to squeeze past a massive elephant every single morning to get to your office, pressing your back against the wall, all while acting like you're just strolling down an empty hall?
That connects perfectly to the visual, to the papers on the floor. The transcript mentions paper shuffle, voices lower. It feels like the bureaucracy, the paperwork, it's all just a prop.
It's a coping mechanism. It's distraction theater. If you're looking down at your papers, you're not looking up at the elephant.
Right.
But the mess on the floor suggests that strategy is failing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The papers are discarded. They're walked over. The official business has effectively collapsed because the physical reality of the problem has made normal function impossible. but they keep shuffling.
But why, though? I mean, why not just say, hey, everyone, there's an elephant here. Why is that so hard?
Because of the sunk cost of silence. The transcript absolutely nails this. The eyes slide away because saying its name would mean admitting it's been here the entire time. That's the trap. If you acknowledge it today, you have to explain why you didn't acknowledge it yesterday or last year or 10 years ago. You become complicit in the history of the silence.
That is a terrifying concept. It means the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to ever speak the truth.
And the transcript says, the longer it waits, the louder the room becomes with everything no one will say. That's the paradox of Corruptionville. The silence is actually deafening. It creates this high-pressure environment where the tension just builds and builds and builds.
So that's phase one, the sepia hallway. This is the phase of shame. It's messy, it's private, it's hidden in the dark, dusty corners of the house. It's that whole Southern Gothic decay where the family secrets are rotting the floorboards.
Exactly. But Corruptionville isn't just about old houses. The elephant moves up in the world.
It does. It moves from the private sphere of neglect to the public sphere of power. Which brings us to the second source image. This is a jarring transition. We go from that sepia rot to a crisp, high-end corporate boardroom. We've got the round mahogany table, expensive leather chairs, the whole deal. It's a place of influence.
And yet, the dynamic is exactly the same.
It is. There are, about 8 men sitting around this table. White shirts, ties, slicked back hair. They look like your standard corporate board.
Or a political cabinet, yeah.
And jammed into the room with them, physically squeezed in is another elephant. This one looks even bigger relative to the space. Its head is scraping the ceiling tiles. Its tusks are inches from the chairman's face.
So what stands out to you about the men's reaction in this image?
That's the thing. There is no reaction. Zero. They're all looking down. One guy is reading a report. Another is taking notes. They are completely, studiously ignoring the fact that a wild animal is breathing down their necks.
This is a classic example of what's called normalization of deviance, the concept from engineering disasters, actually, like the Challenger explosion. But it applies perfectly to corruption. You accept a small anomaly, then a bigger one, then an even bigger one, until eventually you're sitting in a boardroom with a monster and it just feels like another Tuesday.
But hold on. In the hallway, it felt like fear or shame. Here, it feels arrogance. Like, do these guys actually think this is working, or do they just not care?
I think it's deeper than arrogance. I think it's complicity. In the hallway, the papers were on the floor. The system was broken. Here, the papers are on the table. The system is functioning around the corruption.
They've integrated the elephant into the workflow.
Yes. A weight agreed upon. That's the phrase from the text.
Right.
And look at the lighting. In the hallway, it was dim, hazy. Here, it's bright. There are big windows. We always talk about transparency as the cure for corruption, right? We say sunlight is the best disinfectant.
That's the classic saying, yeah.
But look at this room. It is full of light. You can see everything clearly. And they still won't look. This suggests that transparency is completely useless if the people in charge refuse to see what is illuminated. You can light up the room as bright as you want, but you can't force the eyes to focus if the brain refuses to acknowledge reality.
That is a really cynical but probably very accurate take. It's not that they can't see it, it's that their careers depend on not seeing it.
Exactly.
If one of those guys looks up and screams, "Elephant," what happens?
He gets fired. Or escorted out by security, he becomes the problem. He's the one who disrupted the meeting. The elephant isn't the disruption anymore, the truth teller is.
Which is a perfect segue to our third source, because we actually see what happens when someone tries to confront the elephant in Corruptionville, and things get weird.
Weird is an understatement.
Yeah.
This is where the satire shifts into something almost mythological.
Wait, let me describe this for you. We're outside now. We're looking at a massive, imposing stone building. Classical columns, heavy steps. And carved in stone above the entrance are the words Department of Justice.
So we know exactly where we are supposed to be.
But the figures on the steps are not who you would expect to see at the DOJ.
Not at all.
No. On the left side of the steps, we have our elephant again. Big, gray, undeniable. But standing opposite the elephant is a witch.
A literal storybook witch.
Green skin, pointy black hat, red cape, hooked nose. She looks like she walked right out of The Wizard of Oz, and she's reaching out with these claw-like hands towards the elephant, almost like she's casting a spell or shouting an accusation.
This image, it's so jarring, it's so absurd.
Yeah.
But let's just break down the symbolism for a second. We have the elephant, the open secret. We have the Department of Justice building. So why is the accuser a witch?
You know, my first thought is that it's about how the system views whistleblowers. If you're the one person pointing out the corruption that everyone else has agreed to ignore, you don't look like a hero to them.
No.
You look crazy. You look malicious. You're conducting a witch hunt.
Exactly. That term witch hunt gets thrown around constantly in our world to deflect accountability. Here, the source material just literalizes it. The person demanding justice is painted as a fairy tale villain. Why are you being so wicked? Why are you attacking this poor, innocent elephant?
It flips the script completely. The elephant is just a natural animal. It's just there. The witch is the unnatural one. She's the one causing the scene.
And look at the building itself, the Department of Justice. It's massive, stone, cold. It's completely passive in this scene. It provides the backdrop, but it isn't intervening at all.
It's a stage.
It's a theater. It suggests the institution has become a place where we just act out the battle of good versus evil, so we can all sleep at night thinking someone is dealing with a problem.
But it's just a performance.
Meanwhile, the elephant is heavy and unmoving. Notice in the image, the elephant doesn't look threatened by the witch at all. It's just standing there. You can scream at it. You can cast spells. It's an elephant. It is too big to care about your magic tricks.
There is such a sense of futility in that image. The witch looks desperate. The elephant looks bored. And the building just looks empty.
It highlights the stage of delusion. We've gone from shame in the hallway to complicity in the boardroom to delusion at the DOJ. We pretend there's a mechanism to fight back, but the mechanism is just a caricature.
So if the justice system is a fairy tale and the executives are complicit, what happens next? Where does the elephant go when it realizes no one is actually going to stop it?
This is the final and I think the most disturbing part of our deep dive.
Yeah.
The evolution doesn't stop at the steps of the DOJ. The elephant integrates.
We have two final images here, and they're the ones that really gave me the creeps. In the previous images, the elephant was, well, it was naked. It was a wild animal.
Right.
In these last two. The elephant is wearing a uniform.
A police uniform.
Let's look at the first one. It's a portrait-style image, stark yellow background like a warning sign. And there stands the elephant. It's wearing a blue police button-down shirt, badges, a utility belt, and it's holding a sign.
A do not enter sign.
Yeah, a red square with a white bar.
This is a massive shift in the narrative. Before, the elephant was just taking up space. It was passive. Now, it's actively regulating space. It is holding a sign that tells you what to do.
It has hands. Did you notice that? The elephant has these human-like hands covered in black leather gloves to hold the sign. That detail is horrifying.
It is.
It's like it's trying to mimic a human officer, but it's still this giant beast.
That mimicry is key. It represents the concept of state capture or regulatory capture. That's when the corruption, the problem, actually takes over the very agency meant to regulate it.
The thing that shouldn't be there is now wearing the badge of the person supposed to remove it.
It is no longer an elephant in the room. It is the elephant in charge.
Wow.
The text says, the elephant does not charge, it doesn't shout, it just waits. And while it waited, it assimilated. It put on the uniform.
And that leads to the final image. This one is photorealistic again, and it's just visceral. We're looking through the windshield of a police squad car. It's night. We see the dashboard, the steering wheel, and sitting in the driver's seat is the elephant.
Describe the atmosphere outside the car.
It's blurry, streaks of light. You can see the red and blue flashing lights reflecting off wet pavement. It feels like an active emergency. And the elephant is driving. Its trunk is curled around the steering wheel. It's wearing the police hat. It looks focused.
This brings the horror all the way home. The Vigilante Justice intro said people pretend there's space still to breathe. But looking at that image, an elephant physically squeezed into the driver's seat of a Ford Crown Vic here, there's zero space left. It has consumed the machinery of the state.
It is the ultimate irony. You call 911 because you're in trouble. You see the flashing lights approach. You think, thank God safety is here. The window rolls down, and it's the thing you were afraid of.
It implies that the corruption has become the primary function of the system. An elephant can't drive a car. It's physically impossible, just like the boardroom was absurd. But in Corruptionville, reality bends to accommodate the powerful.
They've built a world where elephants drive cars because the alternative, admitting the elephant shouldn't be there, is too painful.
It's a closed loop. If the police are the corruption, who do you call to report the corruption?
You don't. You stay in the hallway. You shuffle your papers, and you lower your voice.
It feels like we've watched the death of an organization or a democracy in 4 snapshots.
We have. Let's recap that progression because it really feels like a warning system for anyone listening.
It is. So first, shame. The problem appears, we see it, but we ignore it to keep the peace. The clutter builds up.
Then complicity. We invite the problem into the meeting. We normalize it. We prioritize business as usual over the truth.
And then third, delusion. We create these fake battles, scapegoating whistleblowers or creating theatrical investigations. Just pretend we're handling it.
And finally, control. The problem takes the wheel. It becomes the authority.
It's not a happy story.
No, but it feels incredibly relevant. Whether you're talking about a dysfunctional family where everyone ignores the elephant at the dinner table, or a failing company, or a corrupt government, the pattern is the same.
It is, and the most dangerous phase is actually the first one, the hallway.
Really? Why do you say that?
Because that's the only time you can easily get the elephant out. When it's just standing in the hall, it's a nuisance. It's awkward. But you can band together and say, hey, this doesn't belong here.
But once it's in the boardroom?
You're risking your job. Once it's in the police car, you're risking your life. The cost of telling the truth goes up exponentially the longer you wait.
The longer it waits, the louder the room becomes. That line is really sticking with me now.
It should. The silence isn't saving you. It is burying you.
Oh, so this deep dive was a bit of a trip into the Twilight Zone, but the takeaways are very real. It's about the psychology of avoidance and the high price of peace at any cost.
It's a call to action, in a way. It asks you, the listener, to look at your own environments. Where are you shuffling papers? Where are you lowering your voice?
And that is the question I want to leave you with today. We saw that final image. The elephant driving the police car, blue lights flashing, patrolling the streets of Corruptionville.
A silent patrol.
If you're a citizen in that town or in that company or that family, and the walls are closing in, what do you do? Do you keep pretending the driver is human? Or do you finally stand in the road and point at the trunk?
It's a hard choice, but the alternative is getting run over.
Think about that, and maybe take a look around your own office today. If you see something gray and wrinkly standing in the corner, maybe say something before it asks for the car keys. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.